Samurai Jack, Season 5, Episode 4. We begin with a relatively quiet setting, and there are numerous crows in the area. Jack wakes up and fights in fear at the sight of a daughter of Aku, with Aku's face, but it is just a hallucination. He looks up at the trees and we are shown how he was able to survive. The branches helped to break Jack's fall and then he simply landed in the bed of snow. He sees what appears to be Ashi in the distance and goes closer to her body. Standing above her supposed dead body, Jack hears the crows calling him a murderer. Then we see that there is no body. He's having another hallucination and hasn't fully come to terms with the fact that he had to kill humans. There's still a part of him that makes him question his actions, but he knows that he gave the daughters a chance to walk away. They chose the path. He's trying to rid himself of all doubts. Shortly after, we see Ashi appear, and she is charging at Jack, who is eventually able to subdue her. Ashi continues the comedy that we saw at the end of the last episode, where she keeps yelling at Jack to die. Jack tries to talk some sense to her, but she is having none of it. I love this scene. Again, I am amazed at how quickly the show goes from an uncomfortable hallucination to a comedic scene. The transition was flawless. Jack ponders if there's a way to convince Ashi that Aku is the evil one, and then thinks about how it might be impossible as she continues to verbally attack him. The scene quickly changes when a monster appears out of nowhere and consumes both of them. Even while falling into the monster, Ashi still attempts to take Jack's life. It just shows how committed she is to her goal and how much she truly believes that Jack is pure evil. Even Jack is surprised when he says, "Are you kidding me?" Which is definitely what I was thinking. He is able to dodge her attacks until she goes face first against a tree, which knocks her unconscious. Jack notices that they will be crushed by the falling trees if they don't go through one of the holes. Instead of leaving Ashi to die, Jack saves her life by grabbing her and bringing her through the hole with him. Jack does not like a heart and he wants Ashi to know the truth about Aku. Ashi does an evil laugh and feels that Jack will now be dead because they have both been consumed by the monster. But Jack is quick to tell her that he's been in similar situations in the past. Jack has now made it rather obvious that he intends to make Ashi realize how misguided she is and know the truth about Aku. He realizes that the daughters have been brainwashed into believing Aku is righteous. They did not choose the path was chosen for them. Even after such a statement, Ashi still tries to kill Jack by pushing him into the creatures coming after them. He ingeniously uses a creature's claw as a sword and is easily able to slice through the other creatures. Instead of being bitter towards Ashi and leaving her to die, Jack makes an effort to save her, but Ashi is not thankful towards Jack. She continues to try and attack him and she gets knocked out again. There's some serious concussive trauma with all of these knockouts. With Ashi knocked out and no longer serving as a distraction, Jack is able to fight off more of the creatures and then eventually escapes from them. The inside of the monster was extremely intricate with how different the sections look. It's almost like a giant maze. Ashi's dream is important because it makes her more similar to Jack. Jack is not the only one who suffers from mental anguish. Ashi does too. She hears the voice of her trainer telling her to kill the samurai. She can't escape from her mental anguish, even in her sleep. The camera moves to Jack where he is hallucinating again. He is faced with his deeper thoughts that conflict with his primary ones. He wants to save Ashi, but his inner demons tell him to leave her. Again, he is faced with Kimono Jack. Ashi hears Jack talking to himself, and this is an important moment because it will cause Ashi to empathize with him later on, in that she knows mental anguish as well. But as of right now, she is not empathetic in the slightest. She is taken away by some lobster-looking creature. Kimono Jack tells him that she chose the path, but this is wrong because the path was chosen for her by the woman who trained her. Jack feels entirely at fault for what happened to Ashi and her sisters. Kimono Jack believes their problem is gone, but Jack plans on saving her again. He makes quick work of the red creature, but he receives no thanks from Ashi, who euphemistically says she'd be happier as that creature's shit than be grateful to him. Changing Ashi is going to be a difficult task for Jack, and this episode serves to outline that. The hallucination that Jack previously blew away returns and makes light of the situation by asking, "What did you expect? A hug and a kiss?" This foreshadows, or at least hints at a possible romance between the two in the future. We get into a montage scene of Jack trying to find a way out with Ashi barking at him about how he will die. This just shows how much faith and belief she has in Aku, and hence how brainwashed she really is. Jack's patience is pushed to the limit and he once again tries to explain the truth to Ashi, but she doesn't believe him. He tells her that she will see the truth if she opens her eyes and lets go of the hate, but Ashi simply replies by saying, "Die." We are left to wonder how Jack will be able to change Ashi. Red needle-like objects begin to fall on them and Jack takes Ashi under cover. In another comedic scene, Jack removes the needles from Ashi and himself one by one, but he alternates each time. He then tells Ashi that many people pay for this and it's called acupuncture. An honest attempt at light conversation, but from looking at the scowl on Ashi's face, he knows that nothing will come out of it. Jack is able to create armor using pieces of a creature. He behaves lightheartedly towards Ashi even after she replies to his comments negatively. Jack notes how they are close to exiting from the monster and Ashi kicks her legs and causes the both of them to fall. Luckily, Jack was able to hold on and now they are hanging. Ashi is willing to end her own life if it means killing Jack in the process. She is that loyal to Aku and her objective. She is that brainwashed and misguided. I wouldn't expect a couple of hours with Jack to counteract years of brainwashing that began from the day she was born. Jack makes an adjustment to the chain which makes her hang away from him, which prevents her from trying anything like that again. Jack could have easily been heartless and left her there to die, and she arguably deserves it. But he doesn't want to give up on her. Jack is still human and has care for others even after living these 50 brutal years in the future. They are exposed to a beautiful scene that even causes Ashi to inhale in awe. Jack makes a beautiful statement. Even in the bowels of the darkest of creatures, there is beautiful light. Even though Ashi seems like a dark, evil creature, Jack still sees the potential of a beautiful light within her. After he says this, an opening forms that shows the outside world. It seems to be that opening is the creature inhaling and exhaling. When he exhales, the opening forms. But beneath the exit is a pool of acid, and if they are to fall in, it would mean certain death. Now we feel suspense because Ashi may attempt to kill both her and Jack by making them fall into the acid. They get close to the exit, but a creature flies up at them and eats the creature Jack was holding onto. Luckily, Jack is able to grab onto another flying creature and prevents them from falling into the pool of acid. The flying creature shoots them into the air and they land inside a jellyfish-like creature. They hide within it while the big creature looks for them. The exit to the outside opens once again and the jellyfish creatures start to ascend, but the big creature is in hot pursuit. The jellyfish creatures start to slow down and actually start to explode. Jack jumps off the jellyfish creature through the exit just as it closes and just before the big creature catches up to them. The chain that was subduing Ashi breaks as they fly off into the air and fall into the ocean. Jack saves Ashi from drowning and swims to a nearby island. Ashi resumes consciousness and sees that her weapon has also drifted onto the island. With Jack turned, she plans to attack him and she begins to sneak towards Jack, but she stops after she sees a ladybug. We get a flashback of when she was training as a child with one of her sisters. She sees a ladybug and tells her sister to wait so that they can gaze at it. The head trainer gets the ladybug on her finger and then kills it. She calls it a frivolous distraction that is poisonous to her mission and not part of Aku's order, but she sees it as a beautiful thing. The moment of truth arrives when she sees Jack holding a ladybug on his finger, but he does not kill it, and that causes Ashi to lay down her weapon. She knows that Jack can't be pure evil because why would he let something so beautiful live? She sits down and watches the ladybugs around her. This was an absolutely beautiful way in showing Ashi's transition from needing to kill Jack to having no desire to. The show stays true to its roots by showing a pivotal moment in character development without any dialogue. Jack tried numerous times to change Ashi throughout the episode through words, a direct attempt. Ironically, it was an indirect attempt that caused Ashi to change. Jack's words didn't cause Ashi to change, his actions did. Another amazing episode. I'm just in awe during every episode. I think that I'll get used to it, but then the show continues to surprise me. I can't wait for next week. Do you think Ashi has fully changed, or will she try to attack Jack later on? She still suffers from mental trauma, so that may cause her to relapse back to her old ways, but I don't think that will happen. Jack finally has a companion, and I can't wait until he sees the Scotsman and his wife. I think that will make for a comedic scene with them asking if Ashi is Jack's wife. Let me know what you thought of the episode and the analysis, and as always, I'll see y'all on the flip side.